And we are live.
It was great because he started with a 5 count and he goes, and five, we're live.
I figured I would sing it, and be
No, what made me laugh is that you hit the button to go for a 5 count and then you got a 1 count before we were actually on video.
yes, exactly. Well, hi guys, welcome to the weekly episode. I said five. Sorry, I tweeted out episode five is episode four. Sorry.
This whole episode, it's just
This
a mess. Just a mess.
just a mess. I apologize for that. So it's not episode five, people. It's actually episode four. Let me just make sure because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, welcome and thank you for joining us. We have actually this is episode five, so I am correct. I actually just numbered it wrong. See, foolishness, just pure foolishness. I'm going to change the title now. So welcome to another episode of the weekly. I'll just call it another episode. And of course, with me is the one and only Mr. Sum, the Gotcha guy, Hawaiian Bagnell. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going well. West Coast represent. I had a little more sleep. We've got coffee. We're ready to do this.
Okay, all right, cool. So we are going to roll. First big item of the week. I'm not sure, I wasn't sure to put it in uselessness, but Lenovo's trying to handle it as fast as possible. Is
I mean, we're fans of Lenovo here, but we do need to put this into the uselessness of the week. We do.
Okay, all right, yeah, true, true,
I
true.
think I think we can I think we can give it up. Like when we give a company like Apple a ton of crap because we're not necessarily the biggest Apple fans. When a company we do like
Yeah,
messes up, we need to be able to call them on it too.
true, true. So they I guess they've been installing malware on their systems that's been shipping out called Superfish.
Superfish.
Um, yeah, can you please tell
Oh, you
tell
want
our
me you want me
audience-
to handle Superfish? Okay, so
Yes, please,
Superfish
please,
is
please handle it. Please do.
Superfish was okay. So first of all, Lenovo. One of my biggest criticisms of Lenovo systems, if you catch any of my reviews, I feel they install too much value-added software. Basically, what we would call bloat. Just tons of stuff gets packed onto Lenovo, especially Lenovo consumer systems. A little bit less with the ThinkPads and the Think machines.
Yeah.
But one of their value-added services was this service called Superfish, and it was a browser add-on. And it was this little piece of software that if you managed to activate it, it would come pre-installed. There are conflicting reports as to whether or not it was always pre-activated or if the user of the system would have to do something to activate it. But regardless, once Superfish is activated in your browser, it does
Mhm.
something it does something kind of nefarious. I don't think it was necessarily for nefarious reasons, but what it would do is it would replace the security certificates on your browser. So whenever you go to a website, you've got a like your bank website. There's a certain protocol that happens in the background to make sure that the website that the site and the server can verify who you are and vice versa. And
Yeah.
this Superfish piece of software would replace that certificate with its own, so that what it could do is it could filter through the traffic going into and out of your browser to serve you better ads. The whole idea of Superfish actually sounds like one of those sort of shopping consumer things, which doesn't sound that bad. Is that it would try and find products and services that you like based on your searches, based on visual items in your browser. It would try and find lower prices for you to buy that stuff. But the fact that it was swapping out your security certificate meant that it basically could go through even encrypted traffic. So even something that you think would be a protected HTTPS style communication, it could filter through that information. And while I really don't believe that Lenovo had any designs on, well, I want to know his banking information, I don't think that was the purpose of Superfish. I really do think that it was more for being in between so that you could serve better targeted advertising and you could kind of replace Google advertising on top of someone's search results.
Mhm.
It leaves your browser in a horrifically actionable and a horrifically open position that if another attacker were to get into this, it would be called a man-in-the-middle attack. You've got a little piece of software that sits in between you and another service. If a hacker were to get a hold of the protocols to get into Superfish, they'd basically have full access to everything that you do on the internet.
Mhm.
So Lenovo, they just on Friday, just yesterday, they published they released a removal tool so that
Yeah.
you can get this little piece of software. It'll scan your system to see if you're affected by Superfish. And then they also have very detailed, if you don't trust Lenovo's software to get rid of Lenovo software, they've got very detailed steps with like pictures and captions on how you can go through and get rid of Superfish. And I think there was
Microsoft Windows Defender. So basically,
Microsoft Windows Defender 2 days ago published an update for Windows Defender so that you can use Windows Defender to go through and strip. Because the thing is, if you get rid of Superfish, the program, the security certificates still remain swapped.
Yeah.
So you have to go through and manually get rid of that as well. And I think there's also a problem where you have to get rid of stuff in your registry to make sure that all of that's wiped out. But it's turned into a PR nightmare. And again, I don't think Lenovo handled it very well when the initial reports of unhappy users were going through. So now they're getting after it because it's becoming more and more of a black eye for them. But if they had approached it this sort of forthright when the first reports came out, then I don't think we'd be talking about it at all.
Yeah, I mean, true, but I think what it was, because I saw some of the comments from their the CTO, and he, I mean, I can understand why, because when they first heard about it, his answer was like, I think it's theoretical. I think it's something that is, I'm just paraphrasing. It's something small, not something that we actually do ourselves. And then before you know it, people are like, nah, yeah, it's on. It's everywhere.
The reason why he faltered with his response there was someone asked him point blank about security concerns, and he kind of brushed it off with a comment that was factually accurate. Oh, we don't know of anyone that's really been taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing as if you were to go to your, like, if you have a home security system and you complain to them like, hey, you've left my house unlocked for this last week, and anyone could have walked into my house. It was completely unguarded. There was no security on my house. Yeah, but we don't know that anyone walked into your house and stole anything, so no big deal. That's kind of the same, like, let them eat cake kind of response. So it was the wrong way to handle a very bad problem. But if you're rocking a Lenovo system, if you're using a ThinkPad, you're probably not affected. I don't think they installed Superfish on any of their business-grade solutions. But any of the consumer style, the Mix, the Y50, if you use their gaming laptop, some of their IdeaPads, I definitely go and check out and see if this browser tool is messing your stuff up.
Yeah, definitely. So that is our uselessness of the week. Lenovo, don't do it again. Don't do it. All right, moving on to some crunchy news this week. First one is from Samsung, and I believe this is going to be a huge game changer. Samsung acquired a company called LoopPay. The two guys who started off from MIT, just down the street from me here. And LoopPay is a payment system that they created in 2012 that does not require any new hardware changes, especially from the business side. So things like Apple Pay, things like Google Wallet, and all the other payment systems, you require that merchants get at least base minimum an NFC Pay system. What LoopPay does is LoopPay uses the magnetic strip from your credit card. So whenever you swipe a credit card, right, when you swipe it, it actually generates a magnetic signal. And what LoopPay does, it just replicates the magnetic signal of each card that you have. So when you put it next to, when you activate LoopPay and put it next to the magnetic strip, it feels like it's swiped. And that's it. So that's how they've been in business for a while, but it's been under the radar. I hadn't heard about this company till literally a couple of weeks ago. That's pretty much it. And it seems like Samsung has acquired them, and it looks like we will be getting LoopPay in the Galaxy S6, which should be very interesting because if you really think about it, that would leapfrog Samsung above Apple and anyone else in having mobile payments accessible to almost 90% of kiosks out there. So it doesn't matter whether you go to your mom and pop store or you go to your your Apple store, anywhere it is, like you can just use it and be done. So your thoughts on Samsung acquiring LoopPay?
Well, it's one of those things I watched through the LoopPay video. I think that was one of their Kickstarter or crowdfunding videos, and it looks really cool. The idea that we wouldn't have to we don't have to find a special kiosk to use a service like Google Wallet or Apple Pay. I think I don't know that this is going to be as much of a game changer because it's still going to be tied in with one company, uh, it's looking like it's only going to be able to be built into future phones unless you can use some sort of case style
Yeah,
solution to simulate that magnetic stripe. So in the video, they show them paying with an iPhone 5S,
case.
but it's because it's got a special case on it. So again, it's another step in the right direction for me, and I'm really happy to see it. But until this stuff is a bit more ubiquitous, like all of the hardware, it's kind of like in the early days of NFC. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, can you tap and share stuff? Well, no. Okay, well, we have to wait for you to finish your 2-year contract to get a new phone, and then you'll have NFC stuff that you can do. And I kind of feel like we're gonna see it'll be another piece of momentum that can kind of help build, but until it's a ubiquitous service and it doesn't matter what phone I pick up, I can just go and tap and pay and have some kind of payment solution for just about every kiosk out there. I still think mobile payments are going to be a little stunted here in the United States.
Oh no, definitely. I think it will, but I think why I say it's a huge step for Samsung. Remember, Samsung is the other half of all mobile phones on the planet at this point. Let's
Yeah.
just call it that. So if Samsung phones moving forward have that, then I know that if I'm one of those people who's either had Apple Pay or looking to move to that, that makes it more enticing. And the fact that I know that I actually don't have to even struggle like Apple Pay or any other NFC payment system, I can just use my phone.
For
And you won't be surprised that Samsung will probably start releasing cases for the S5 and Note 4 and other devices because Loop Pay is a wholly owned subsidiary, so they're still going to work separately from Samsung, which to me implies that Samsung is looking to either license
Yeah.
the tech out or to other companies like LG, HTC, and the rest of them, and also use that to make accessories, cases, and things like that they can now say, hey, your phones will work with with Loop
No,
Pay.
I mean, like I totally hope that that's what's going to happen. I fear that because Samsung is the company that Samsung is, and they're very focused on what features they can bring to market, that the first 2 years of this acquisition is going to be spent with this being a Samsung exclusive. And then it's not going to catch on like they thought it would, and then they can start pushing. Oh, well, yeah, we could totally do like a case or something like that.
I
So
mean,
then
I think we'll see Samsung cases for other Samsung devices probably first.
no, but I mean, like, and while that's still like half of the smartphone market, I still think it's something that, as people are looking to pick up a new phone, if they're on a Galaxy S4 and there's this service and they're looking at shopping an HTC or an LG, that's not necessarily going to be something that keeps them in there. But if Samsung were to take this technology and just start building cases for everybody, then I think we would see traction pick up very quickly.
Oh no,
But I
true,
just don't see
true.
Samsung doing something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, as a business, you don't necessarily want to do that in the first
But
place.
I think it's whether or not you care about hardware, that's money in a services market. So
Yeah.
every transaction that goes through the service, Samsung's going to have a piece of. I think it would be incredibly short-sighted to say, oh no, this needs to be something just for Galaxy owners, because you can turn an LG customer into a Samsung customer. You can turn an HTC customer into a Samsung customer. You can
I
even turn
mean, I
an
mean,
Apple
true.
customer into
Too.
a Samsung customer. All you got to do is produce a $20 case that you're going to sell for $49.95, and it's got a little chip in it, and then they've got to sign up for a Samsung service, and now they've got the ability to do tap and pay anywhere that Apple Pay won't work.
I mean, true. I mean, you are right with that, and I see them doing. If I was Samsung, I mean, I wouldn't make. I actually honestly wouldn't make cases for LG or HTC. I would make for iPhones,
Mhm.
definitely, and I would license to future HTC and LG phones, or everybody else, because honestly, it makes no sense to do that to make cases for older, LG or HTC or any other company cases, but iPhones, because we all know how iPhone users they actually spend 2 years before they switch,
Yeah.
compared to Android users. So I can see it on that level. But I mean, it all depends on what they do in that whole arena. But it will be interesting to see if it turns out. But I mean, I think it's still a good acquisition though, because again, this is a company that literally has gone under the radar and no one has picked up till now. So it looks like at least Samsung is trying to do something positive. My own shock is Google hasn't done much, even though they kind of spearheaded mobile payments to a certain way. Haven't done much with mobile payments for me to feel satisfied in that avenue.
Well, I mean, those are the rumors that we've been hearing pop up again, that either coming up with MWC or pushing into Google I/O, that we're going to see a complete refresh and rebranding of what Google Wallet is.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see something coming down the pipe there. But again, for the company that really tried to start pushing this here, especially in North America, they've been suspiciously quiet since Apple Pay has come out, and we haven't really seen
Exactly.
anything. If anything, we've seen them sort of back off from Google Wallet a little bit, because didn't they? Has it gone through that they've eliminated Google Wallet as being an online?
I'm not sure if they have yet. I'm really actually not sure on that aspect, but like you said, we'll see. All right, moving on from Google to another Google company, YouTube. Rumor is that YouTube will be rolling out. No, rumor, it's actually going to happen, sir. Let me clarify that. YouTube will be rolling out a subscription service for YouTube. And word is that pricing might be just 99 cents to subscribe to YouTube, and this will be completely ad-free, so you can watch all your videos without ads. And most likely, this is also kind of meant to support their streaming music service that they want to roll out. So just your thoughts on an ad-free YouTube, especially how it pertains to you as a YouTube partner.
Well, as it pertains to me as a YouTube partner, I just want to make sure I get a cut. Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess. I don't know. I think YouTube is looking. Google is looking at how they can position YouTube and continue monetizing the service. I know they also just recently, this last week, which would have been maybe one of my mini uselessnesses, is they're going to be cracking down on branded videos.
Yeah.
So if you've got a sponsored video, then they won't serve ads on your sponsored video, because they feel they've got a better solution for serving advertising to customers, and that's
actually yeah, but it's a little different though. I was reading the wording for it. It's not, you can't put text in there stating that it's weird. Like literally, if you say it's a sponsored video, it's different from actually you putting text as a sponsored video, because it's the algorithms are looking at this. So
well, but then it was also in the way that if the video itself is serving advertising, and because I mean, you should be notifying you should be notifying YouTube if something is or is not a sponsored video, but that if you do a sponsored video, that you're only allowed to put that it's in text that it's a sponsored video. They don't want you cutting full ads in your video, which is odd. But anyway.
Yeah, sorry, it is a mini uselessness. I'll get back to that myself.
Going hand in hand with this, and especially in the way that they're trying to monetizing, they're trying to make YouTube as appealing a service as they can, since it's the #1 video streaming service on the internet. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't want to watch ads, you've got to pay up. That's what keeps a service running. It's why I've always been confused by Hulu, where you pay and then you get to watch ads.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be curious to see how it actually rolls out, because that money then needs to be distributed, because the people that are actually producing the content are the actual value for YouTube. So
okay.
However they get paid, awesome, but you still got to make sure that gets handled appropriately.
I don't like it. I honestly don't, because I started doing the math at doing 99 cents, and I realized that I as a YouTube partner, I'll be shafted already off the bat, because I will make less than what I'm making now, because at that 99 cents per subscription value, not ads, I'm going to be getting small of a cut from that. I'll be getting maybe 6 cents or something like that. Who knows?
But I thought the YouTube ad-free service was $7.99 or something like that.
I from what I saw, oh yeah, you're right. It is $7.99. My bad. Sorry. 99 cents was something else. I apologize.
Well, but I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, the idea is you pay $7.99 and then you can watch YouTube ad-free.
Free.
So I mean, I guess that takes a chunk out of the people who were super heavy watchers.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
So if you were a super heavy watcher, you were probably encountering more ads per month than the $7.99 is going to pay for. So I'm still not entirely sure who this is for. So I mean, if you're watching tons and tons and tons of YouTube, which I think isn't most of the internet. I think YouTube is more a long tail, where tons of people are occasionally watching videos. I'll be curious to see how that's affected. Because like say someone is not a very heavy user, but they decide they don't ever want to watch ads, and so they pay $7.99, and that generates more money than what they normally would have. They normally would have spent, or they would have generated through ad revenue. Then shouldn't the videos that they watch get a bigger cut of that $7.99?
It should, but there's so many videos on YouTube, and that's the thing. That's why I say that to me doesn't. As long as you do the math, it doesn't make sense, because $7.99 is $8 times 12 months, right? And you're looking at a set amount of like $96 for the whole year from one individual, on YouTube. And that one individual on a regular basis will watch. Say if this was a regular YouTube heavy watcher would watch, say a bunch of videos from my stream, your stream, a bunch of other places. He's consuming more content than the ads are serving. You always make more money off ads than actually subscription.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I think we're saying the same thing. The one thing I'm asking though is, let's say someone watches 5 videos a month, but decides that they don't want to watch any ads. So they're willing to pay. This is an extreme example. This isn't a real person. I'm not making this person up. I am making this person up. So you've got the 5 people. I mean, the 5 videos. Yeah. So if they were just watching ads, they'd make what, like 12 cents in ad revenue.
Yeah.
But if they're willing to pay $7.99, how does that $7.99 get distributed across those 5 videos? Are you still going to get the YouTube creator still going to get the 12 cents? Or is YouTube going to say, like, oh, well, based on this person's metrics and the $7.99 payment that they gave us, you get, a dollar, and we keep what's left. Like that's what I'm kind of curious about. And every time we talk about subscription, it makes sense from a Netflix perspective because it's all just going to Netflix.
Exactly.
That's the money that Netflix is going to go pour into more original content. YouTube is a service that's built on other people producing content. It's not like you go to YouTube to go to YouTube. You go to YouTube to watch what other people are doing on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's the thing that
sketchy when they change the formula for how people are compensated.
Exactly, and that's a problem though, because that person's view matrix will change from month to month, right? 1 month he could spend the whole time on, say, half of his time on some gadget guy, right? And then next month he's like, I'm watching like 10 other different, YouTube channels. And, third month he just keeps watching cat videos. That's it. But so how do you break that up from month to month? Which to me, it just implies that YouTube will keep most of that money anyway, and you get less at the end of the day. Just from the way it is and the way YouTube is set up, because there are millions of YouTube partners, millions out there. So many people making YouTube videos. So plus Nintendo's now an MCN. I just had to throw that in there.
You're gonna bring that up every episode.
I will. And Warren is here with us. How's it going, man?
It's going all right. How are you going?
Good. We're talking about YouTube's subscription service.
So hey guys, I'm gonna jump out real quick and see if I can figure out what the heck is going on with my connection. So you guys keep talking about that. I'm gonna try and jump back in just a minute. And hopefully I'm on a slideshow after that.
All right. We're just laying our thoughts on YouTube subscription service, and I want to get your thoughts on that.
I think it's only going to be pertaining to music, I believe. I don't think it's going to pertain to all the videos from what I've recently read. Originally, the people were assuming it was going to be all of YouTube for as low as 99 cents.
It's $7.99.
But it sounds like it's $7.99, and I don't think it's not. I don't think it's all the videos on YouTube though.
If it's only music.
I think it's related to music videos, and if that's the case, that makes sense in that genre for that to happen, because I would think they would really cannibalize themselves greatly if they were to make all of YouTube ad-free for that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it's music videos, then it's actually easier to also pay out to the music videos if you wanted to do that too, because you know who's releasing. It's usually it's also certain studios that are releasing the music videos anyway too, right? Warner Brothers and the rest of them. So you can easily say, okay, here's your cut, here's our cut, done. And that's maybe what 100, 200 studios, something like that. That's easier than you doing, it's all the millions of us on YouTube, all together. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. If it's that. If it's not that, then Lord help us.
Yeah. But I really would assume that they've been making a huge play into music more than anything else and trying to capitalize on that more. So I think this is a play more to if it's I think it's more of a play to once I say to capitalize on the music that's listened on YouTube. I think YouTube alone gets more music listens than Google Music itself does. It's probably I think it's behind Spotify. It might be either ahead or behind Spotify for the most music listen, like where people stream the most music from. So it only makes sense to add some type of subscription service for people that just want to use YouTube to listen to music and don't want to have to listen to ads. It's actually a pretty good strategic play because it'll put them maybe a little bit ahead of Spotify, and that I think Spotify plays ads. I don't know how much the subscription service is.
No, I don't think it would be ahead of Spotify. Maybe in US, but not worldwide, just because you're streaming video for music still. It takes more data. And Spotify just wins over that since
Well, no, no,
it's
no, no, no,
music.
no. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're talking about in terms of pricing and versus ads and stuff like that. There might be more people that will buy into the YouTube model because it might be a little bit um, might be a little bit cheaper to not have to listen to ads because that's the number one thing people complain about
I
when
mean,
looking
for
at
all
streaming.
music streaming service, yeah. I mean, it's all ads.
Yeah, it's just like it's all ads, and I think that gets annoying for folks. So um, I think it's a play in to get into that. Then they'll probably only have a certain number of dedicated people that will listen to that or will pay into that type of to pay it in that type. Yeah, also I thought the premium service is only $10 is $10 for Spotify, so I'm cutting them by a couple bucks to get probably just as just as much music or at least the most popular songs that are on there without having to listen to ads and have offline access. I think this is an attack against that to try to pull people over. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. It's and it's a little different where it's related to mostly music videos and streaming and such, and I think that gives that might even give content providers a little bit more control over what they put out, what they want to put out online. Because usually with the music streaming services, they put their whole library out there, versus YouTube where they can be very selective on what they want to put out, so they can essentially almost make more money in a little bit of a ways by being able to pick and choose what music they want to make available on that service, and down the line, maybe make more money per video than they would per stream on a Spotify song. Because I have to imagine, even without ads running on this, there's probably still a good amount of revenue or something that they have to generate revenue with, or some type of pay. Like they have to get paid per stream or paid per something for that for them to be able to just say, $8 a month and you just get all this for free. There's got to be some type of incentive for the studios and the artists to be willing to want to put their music on there.
I mean, yeah, there has to be an incentive. Hey, Juan, you back?
Doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, yeah, you're split into 3 videos now.
Awesome.
Your body's been divided.
So, but has my audio been all right? Is that
Yeah, your audio is fine. It's
okay?
just
So I'm gonna stick with Optimus Prime, and you guys can just gaze
Yeah.
upon his lovely visage whenever I talk. Or if you want, just click off of me and make sure that people aren't looking at that. But I'll just chime in over audio. I don't know what's going on, but Time Warner sucks.
Pretty much. I was just scouring, and it looks like Samsung dropped another video teasing its S5. It looks like this will now be borderless and metal. This is according to
The S6.
Yeah, sorry, S6. Sorry, there we go. Borderless and metal. I said S5. I apologize. Quickly, Warren, just quickly chime in before we switch gears into entertainment on Samsung acquisition of Lupe.
Just another payment service in there to muddy up the whole payment, mobile payment system. I guess they're gonna have their own, just like Google has their own, just like Apple has their own, and so on and so forth. So just another player in the game. I was hoping they'd try to partner with one of the bigger ones or the ones that are already out there to try and get try to start solidifying the payment methods out there and trying to get behind 2 or 3 companies at least so it can kind of satisfy the across the board. But the Loop Pay thing, it just sounds like, hey, we're going to make our own payment system, like Apple has their own, Google has their own, and the carriers have their own, and probably none of them will work with each other, and so on and so forth. I think the only thing that I did hear is that I think I didn't read all fully on it, but the Loop Pay necessarily doesn't need NFC, I heard.
No, it doesn't. It works with anything current.
It uses the magnetic strip,
Magnetic
actually.
strip, yeah. So it works with any current system you have, even your Square, your old mom and pop, anything that has a magnetic strip, it will work with.
How does it detect it, though?
It sends a magnetic signal.
It basically copies what the magnetic stripe on your phone is. I mean, on your credit card is doing.
Yeah. And it just basically creates a magnetic signal. It sends to the strip, and
is this something that needs any special hardware?
No.
From on the phone itself.
Well, yeah, it needs
on the phone
magnetic
itself,
sensor,
yeah.
and so when they show it, when they demonstrated
the
it
same
for the iPhone, they had it in a case. So the case gave it a special magnetic sensor that would duplicate the credit card strip.
Oh, then we're back in the same space again.
No, not really though.
Yeah, we are. We're now introducing another different technology that now has to be on specific phones versus NFC, which was technically on everything. And we have people that are compatible.
But the main thing is this. The main thing is this: is that the most expensive place, which is why Apple Pay is only in 5% of stores, is that the people in the stores have to change that, and it costs them more money, which they now put in your cost as a consumer. And that's why that's taking so long, because unless you're a big chain like Target or something like that, yeah, you can afford to put those NFC kiosks in. This just says they don't have to change, and we talked about that. Like, they have cases for the iPhone. If Samsung were to create more iPhone cases for this, then you now say as a customer, you don't need to upgrade your phone. You can just get the case, or you make cases for LG or Samsung. I mean, HTC or whatever the case may be, but. I mean, I like it just because it works with whatever's there now. So even if I go to somebody who has a kiosk on the street that has a Square payment, I can still use it. And in comparison to, me not using my Apple Pay or Google Wallet, that's the difference there with it.
We're going to be using magnetic cards for a long, long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, we will be.
But this is the second I hear new No, I gotta get a case. I gotta have something. I gotta have something specific. When we kind of settled on the fact there was NFC on everything, I was like, all right, we're getting somewhere. At least there's one technology everything's kind of behind, and even Apple got behind that. Surprisingly, think about this. This is an Apple move where they would have been used something completely different. Apple actually used something that everyone else is using, which is a shocking thing, considering Samsung's doing the exact opposite, using something that no one else is using.
Well, I mean, we're talking about. Where is it that are we inconveniencing? Are we inconveniencing consumers by having to use some kind of case, or are we inconveniencing businesses by making them install new hardware? I mean,
the businesses can make the money back on the hardware, though. They can make the money back on the hardware. You got to get the consumer to want to use it. Never inconvenience the consumer. That's just business 101.
Yeah, but if you buy a Galaxy S6 and you don't have to even tap anything, and it works anywhere. It's not like, that's the problem most iPhone users have now. It's like, I have Apple Pay. I go to a restaurant. Oh, cool. I can't use it. I just can't. I have to bring out my wallet.
And that's also another question, though. Is if you go to a restaurant, hold on. If you go to a restaurant, are you going to give someone your phone so that you can pay at the restaurant?
No. I mean, it all depends. Like, some restaurants will have, like,
No, I know. But I mean, like, that's another thing. That's another part of the culture that's going to get into the way of mobile payments. Is I'm not going to give a waitress my phone.
Well, I mean, most likely they can bring what they can bring over an NFC pad, and they can sit there and split the bill.
Yeah, that's if they have it. That means I'm saying the current problem, right?
I mean, yeah, the current problem could still be that, but here's the thing: this does not solve it, because now the current problem is not everybody has this magnetic soft.
I didn't say it solves the problem, but it does bridge a gap. Plus, the S6 will still have NFC anyway. So what Samsung is probably saying is that, fine, we have a bridge to future here, and we're not keeping people halfway. So which means the Samsung Pay will work with NFC and magnetic strip at the same time. So as you buy an S6, you're going, my phone works everywhere. It doesn't matter what you have, whether it's NFC tap, whether it's a magnetic strip, I can still use it. That's the difference here that they're pushing. as a customer, you're going, even if I want to buy the phone, I'm like, oh, Apple Pay. If I'm one of those people who think of mobile payment systems, then Apple Pay and Google Wallet is only limited. And Samsung says it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter what they put out there. We cover it for you. That's the selling point. And also as a consumer, I go, okay, fine, that makes more sense. Now, if you previously owned a phone, that's where you have issues, of course. If you don't want to transition the switch, but that's the problem we have. And it's either going to take a while for businesses, and when I mean businesses, I'm talking about the mom and pop stores. We're not talking about the Targets, the Best Buys and Walmarts and all. They have the money to switch it. It's the small stores. Remember, a lot of small stores, a lot of mom and pops, they even take credit cards because they don't want to deal with it. They take cash. There's so many places now, more places I see take cash because they're like, screw it, just pay cash, take it or leave it. So it's
Well, the funny thing is, they say screw it and don't take it, but their businesses suffer on the same regard.
Nah, not the ones I know. They do well.
They do well for a certain period of time, but it doesn't work out too well for them. They still cut off a giant part of their customer base by not doing that.
Yeah,
they still do.
It's the price they are willing to pay. But I'm saying that's what you're facing. Is you're having those kind of situations and you're going, okay, if this is a bridge gap, sure. That's fine, but I hear you with having different payment system, but as we know, no one's going to work with each other. And Apple Pay, even though it's NFC, it's only strictly with Apple, so still it's also an island in its own in its own pond altogether.
I'm fine with the services and being able to choose software, but beyond that, no, it's
Well, and lastly, I still think there's the merchant side where I think we're just going to see more Square-like solutions in the marketplace before we start seeing more tap and pay solutions for.
Yeah. So if you're going to have more Square-like solutions, which a lot of places have, where they just bring.
But Square's coming with an NFC-based device.
No, I know, because then all you need to do for a point-of-sale system is put something in your headphone jack on an iPad, and as a merchant, that's a much smaller investment than having a whole new refit on your POS system. And again, I think that's where Square is really become popular. Is it allows is the ability that you can go after smaller businesses, you can go after sole proprietors, you can go after sort of the hipster crowds that love kind of flirting with new technologies. And all you have to do is invest in an iPad or an Android tablet, and there's your point-of-sale solution. It's not going to be Whole Foods that jumps on the Square bandwagon to make that kind of payment system happen.
Okay. You're the host. You don't let dead spots happen. What are you doing?
Now, wait for you to rebuttal. You just went okay.
No, I think we can move on, though. I think Warren's right with his silence. I think we've talked about.
He said the Q. He said the Q, and lastly, man, is this the first time doing this?
Are you done? Are you done? All right, let's move to entertainment now.
Uselessness of the week.
Very good.
Oh, wait. I do actually have one other mini useless because I just caught this just going through my news feed. Since you guys can't see me on camera, I was gonna do this whole big old joke about it, but you guys know that really awesome Apple headset that you dock your iPhone into and it creates like a VR solution, right? That Apple product that does that. You've seen the Apple one, right?
No.
No other company is doing anything like this. It's amazing. You put your iPhone into a pair of goggles and it creates a VR headset, right? You've totally seen this, yeah?
Nah, I haven't seen that at all. Wow.
Well, that's funny because Apple looks like they've been awarded a patent on making a VR-style headset which incorporates a phone screen. Isn't that interesting? No one thinks that that's crap, that there's all this prior art, Google Cardboard and the Samsung Gear VR, and Apple gets the patent on making a VR headset out of a phone screen. No one, it's just me.
You're talking about the patent system, which is a joke.
I'm just saying, it's yet another example of if there is prior art for something, I think our patent office needs to start doing a better job of seeing what is actually out in the industry.
But what does that patent say, though?
Unless it says they're doing something completely different in way of actually creating the VR environments, then I can understand, right? But if not,
no, I mean it looks like Google Cardboard with ear loops. Or a head-mounted display that could be powered by an iPhone.
Oh, then that's the difference. iPhone. Boom. There you go. They can have that patent then. The other ones are powered by Android devices. Boom.
Okay, so I guess that makes sense. Samsung cannot make a Gear VR which will be powered by an iPhone. That's totally fair.
Okay.
They're in violation of that patent.
I'm just saying like that, like a few. I think a few years ago, that patent would have covered all. Would have been something like said smartphone on it. But I think
Oh,
the patent
right.
companies know patent trolls are around and they know it's a big deal. So the U.S. Patent Office is probably being a little bit smarter on how they word shit now, because it's you don't want to run into these giant lawsuits again where Apple goes and finds the worst translator possible to translate a 134-page Korean document about.
Right.
And mind you, they never won. Mind you, did Apple win in one other country outside of the U.S.?
Yeah,
Mm.
true. All right, let's move on to entertainment. Anything from Lou Rod this week? 'Cause I know I didn't get anything from him.
I'm having major issues, so I'll try and get Lou Rod stuff put up, but we should
You
just
can
cover
send
the
it to
main
me if
stories
you
that we've
want.
got. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can get that
Yeah.
swapped over.
First thing, Zach Snyder on Thursday night around 10:30 Pacific Standard Time released this image of Aquaman, saying there's one true king and the hashtag unite the seven. So that is how Aquaman looks. No more orange, blonde hair, looking like he only talks to fish, Mr. Softy. He went with Khal Drago of the sea,
I
pretty
was about,
much.
about to say that exact
Yeah.
thing, which I think
And,
kind of some people were excited. I was like, meh,
oh, I love it.
meh.
Because it is Khal Drago of the sea, but it's also how Aquaman looked like in the, when was this one? 80s? Early 90s?
Yeah, kinda, I guess. I
Yeah,
would say early '90s.
early 90s,
It
yeah.
looks like. Well, and again, we were saying, especially for the. Oh God, I can't remember the name of the album. Never mind. I had a funny joke, and you guys can't even see me on camera anyway. So.
Well, we'll save your jokes. We'll save your jokes. But yeah, he released it, and you know, share your thoughts on what you think. We've already done that. Warren just said he's like, he's okay. He's not too bothered about it. But I like it. I think he looks awesome, and it's a better representation of the character itself. Any comments to add to that, Juan? I'm looking for
I
something.
mean, and what we talked about in the in the last hangout, it kind of makes sense with a character like Aquaman. They're going Aquaman. Wow. They're going dark. They're kind of following in the Nolan franchise footsteps. I mean, I get why they're doing all of this. It's still really hard for me to be getting lit up about properties that are going to be happening out in like 2017, 2018. Until I see a little bit more where the direction DC wants to take their franchises. So I'm kind of stoked, and I'm kind of stoked to see that this one image can garner as much conversation as it is. But I'm still sort of in the tentative wait and see, because we're still basing all of this off of the one Man of Steel film that we have so far. And that's where we're going to be taking our entire train. And I still think they have a ton of things to address from the first Man of Steel film that I didn't particularly enjoy. So
All right. That's it. Stop and let's move on to the next topic, because I'm just gonna stop Juan there before he just starts talking gibberish. Next up, we found out that Neil Blokamp, director of District 9, Elysium, and upcoming Chappie, is going to be directing the next Alien movies. He leaked out some production designs, or he put up some production designs a few months ago, talking about he was just playing around with some stuff for Aliens franchise, but it's apparently, of course, that he's actually going to be directing the next Aliens movie. So thoughts on Neil, director of District 9, making Aliens? I know what Warren is going to say. Go ahead.
I want to hear Warren. Yeah.
What, meh? I don't care. Like I don't know. I like the Aliens movies, but they're not something I hold near and dear to. So it's cool to see someone else take a different direction. We'll see someone's different light on it. They'll find a way to make this like the Halo Aliens movie some way. So, well, who's directing it? That's what District 9 basically was. But I can't wait till we see the aliens somehow being oppressed by the humans in some way, some shape or form. I mean,
Technically, that's what it was, right?
I wonder if
After Aliens.
they're gonna be filming in Johannesburg. I mean, I'm already seeing this Chappie movie, and you can already tell what it's gonna be before you even walk in the door. I mean, like it's like, oh man, what is this? The prequel to iRobot? Like it looks.
Oh, come on! It's not the prequel to iRobot. It's the reboot for Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is alive.
The first preview of that, it looked like it was. The next preview I saw of that, it completely was like, this is like District 9, and then he's getting to make his little iRobot prequel, and then this.
Love it.
Who made the racist to robots? It was new.
Humans are racist to robots.
Other conjecture there.
Okay, so being that the Alien franchise is something that I hold near and dear to my heart through Aliens, and then Alien 3, I kind of drop off a little, and then I kind of drop off a little more, and then the Alien versus Predators were terrible. I'll be interested to see his take on it, but I'm kind of with Warren in that I think this is a filmmaker who kind of told the main story he wanted to tell with District 9. So there's the little concern that when we start dealing with someone else's IP, what are we going to get? What kind of story are we going to get? And the Alien franchise is one that I think needs some fresh blood, it needs some fresh perspective, and it needs a storyteller who's going to be kind of hungry to go back to this universe, and not just like what we got with Prometheus, where we had a team of filmmakers trying to do an Alien prequel at the same time as they were trying to convince everyone that it really wasn't an Alien prequel.
You should have just called it that. It would have been much better.
Well, but I mean, but it was, I feel that whole approach was really cynical, because you got people into the theaters to do an Alien by telling us it was an Alien prequel, and then with all of the trappings of an Alien movie, they tried to make it a story about faith, and that's not what I go for in an Alien film. You know, that's not what I'm looking for.
Well, I guess we're looking forward to being apartheid. I guess that's what all these films are about.
And that's what I'm worried about. You know, I'm kind of on board with you there, Warren. I want to see a really, really well done Alien film because I am a huge fan of the franchise. But I kind of want someone to do what James Cameron did. When Alien came out, it was a horror film. It was a horror film set in outer space. James Cameron, instead of just trying to recreate the atmosphere and the horror of Alien, he flipped it and turned it into an action film. And I kind of want to see, is there any other genre that we could approach an Alien film from the perspective of and do something totally fresh? Because basically all we've gotten are retreads of the first Alien and Aliens. And we keep coming back to those two story structures, and I want to see something totally different. I'd love to see an Alien found footage film. You know, like, why not? We've got this property. I think found footage could be an amazing way to incorporate a more immersive setup and a sort of a video game style narrative, and if done well, like a film like Wreck, you know, you could do something like Alien in the vein of a film like Wreck, and that would be freaking amazing.
I haven't watched one single found footage film that I like. I mean, maybe no, I wouldn't say that. I liked the.
Have you seen Wreck, the Spanish film?
I haven't seen Wreck.
Okay, so what you need to do. So first of all, found footage exists on a super thin bubble of suspension of disbelief. So you can't have anything distract you.
No. It's not that. It's they apply too much shaky camera for me to even care or like. That's my problem with it. Not the story.
I think found footage is the only time. I mean, like if you look at a Bourne film, no, I don't want any shaky cam in that because I want to see the stunts. I don't want to see like the cameraman jerking around and stuff. When you come into found footage, it's the only time I feel that that's appropriate in a narrative to have ultra shaky camera. But anyway, as opposed to the hyper edited.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this like what's this? Is this like them trying to make like Cloverfield or something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
I think you could do a story like that very well. But anyway,
no.
Because you're all wrong. This is what I want you to do. I want you to look up a Spanish film called Rec, R-E-C. It's the record button.
Okay, all right.
There's a Rec and a Rec 2.
And because, no, just Rec. Don't go Rec 2. Don't go Quarantine. That's the American remake. The Quarantine is a fine film, but Rec is far superior.
No, okay. No, it just says Rec 2 on it. I didn't see Quarantine. This is a wreck too.
But get wreck. Don't get wreck too.
All right, wreck.
So get wreck. I want you to put it on a tablet. I want you to wait till 3 in the morning. I want you to put on your best pair of headphones and turn off all the lights in your apartment. And I want you to just watch from a tablet on killer headphones at 3 in the morning. And I think you will have one of the best horror film experiences of your entire life.
Okay, all right. I will do that.
Because if you've got anything going on, if you're watching with another person, you're going to be cracking jokes. Any tension is going to be completely lost. If you've got smartphones or stuff going off, and you've got alerts, and you decide to look away from the screen for just a second, you're going to lose all of the tension.
That's from 2007, right?
I believe so.
2009, I believe, is what it says on here.
Okay. All right, because there's a Rec 3 and there's a Rec
4. 2007. Yes, it is 2007.
Rec 3 walks away from the found footage format. So Rec 3, I think, is a lost experiment. I think the film was actually produced in 2007 and distributed worldwide in 2008. Okay. But yeah, you're looking for the original, the first Rec. And like I said, Quarantine is actually a fine film. But it's just sort of a beat for beat remake of the original, and I think why not just go to the source?
Okay. All right, cool. All right, moving on. Lurod has a couple of things. He says he sent me some stuff under my name, Thunder E. I still can't get it, man. I don't know why.
Hold on. Let me see if I can do
he also says there's also a Powerpuff Girl reboot for 2016. Are you talking about the cartoon or is it a movie? Because Powerpuff Girls were cool.
Yeah, the Powerpuff Girls were awesome, and they did release that kind of special cartoon that they released out with a different animation, which is something they clearly made like 5 years before it actually got released.
Right.
But because it was dealing with Dance Dance Revolution themes, so it was definitely done a while ago.
Okay.
But it was actually cool. The animation, not so much. But
okay.
Let's see. Here we go.
And then Morena.
You can do it. You can do it.
No, we can't.
Bahrain.
There you go. Good job.
More faith than I had.
Morena Bahrain, who is the beautiful, lovely. Before you share yours, I'm sorry, I have to share this. We'll get to.
This is actually one of the things that Lou Rod sent me too. So.
Yeah. So this is who's going to be starring in Deadpool. I love this lady. Love her. Seriously. She was in Homeland. She was in V. She's the only good thing in V, as far as I'm concerned. And she's going to be playing the love interest to Deadpool in the movie. Character's name is Copycat. So that is her. And then finally, they cast a new Nightcrawler. That's
actually what I've got going on my screen share right now.
Yeah, I just switched over to that. So there's a new.
Cody Smith McPhee cast as young Nightcrawler in X-Men Apocalypse, and also I think because he was the kid in The Road, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah. And so one, he's already well familiar with post-apocalyptic films, but that. I think they absolutely nailed the casting on this one.
I'm fine with the casting, but this is my problem with Bryan Singer. He always likes to cast very young. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's exactly
emo-looking.
That's exactly why I think this is appropriate, because we're going back. We're going to the 80s where all of the sort of X-Men Prime characters that we know are all going to be much, much younger.
No. I agree. I'm not. It's not that. It's just I'm saying overall, when I look at his history.
Oh, okay.
To date, no, his casting fits, but everybody else, like the guy who they cast as Cyclops, I was like, really, he doesn't even match with the young Jean Grey. Cause
I'm just saying where we can celebrate a victory, we're just gonna take the victory. Like his penchant for emo actors serves us well with Nightcrawler here. Let's say this one works.
So I should just take fine that he did one good casting.
And you know what? We can walk away, call it a day. It's fine. It's fine.
Because he landed on Hugh Jackman by chance, by the way, too.
So it's fine. It's great.
He was supposed to cast Dougray Scott as what do you call it again? Wolverine. And if you guys have seen him in Mission Impossible 2, you will know that he does not fit that role at all. So. Yeah, and we all know that Patrick Stewart had to be Professor X.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't cast him, that's when you just say the franchise is dead. forget
So
it.
we've got a couple other things that Lou Rod sent via images. Oh, whoops, I skipped over a bunch of them. We've got kind of the let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. The breakdown on actors for Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
Should be
that's
kind
a
of cool.
nice image gallery.
I like that.
I know Will Smith came out this week and talked about his preparation for Deadshot a little bit and how he wants to make that the.
Like out of all of them, I'm kind of really excited to see what Will Smith does in an ensemble
Yeah.
role, where they're not trying to make him the figurehead titular character. I want to see how he plays with other people, sort of in a role like this. So I'm really excited.
I mean, this movie has three main stars. It's Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three main people in this movie. And, so it's just basically how he plays it, especially with Harley Quinn, because he's probably going to spend more time with her than the Joker, since the Joker has a limited role in this. But you're right, definitely how well he plays, in an ensemble, and also how diabolical he gets as Deadshot, would be very interesting to see.
And
Definitely, if you're casting Will Smith as Deadshot, he's going to show up in the Justice League movie, and he's going to show up in at least one other movie.
I mean, like just from everything we've been seeing for Suicide Squad, I hope that's what we see is a continuity moving throughout the DC film universe, where we can kind of count on these actors to reprise these roles. That I think
He's, you know what he is? He is DC's version of what Marvel does with Nick Fury and Samuel L. Jackson. It is your one major star that everyone knows that's not playing a major role but shows up in every single film. He's kind of the constant.
I don't think so, because the way DC Universe, he won't work in all that. The person who will is actually Amanda Waller. Whoever the cast is Amanda Waller is going to show up.
Yeah, that's our Nick Fury. I think that could be really cool.
Because she is the. I mean, if they get it right, how people always talk about, casting a strong black female. Forget, if we have any ladies watching, if you watch shows like, what's that show on Thursday?
You're gonna have to narrow it down a bit, bud.
Oh God, the one that all the women watch on Thursdays.
Yeah, you still have to narrow it down.
Scandal and Empire.
Scandal, all those shows.
Between Scandal and Empire, I think Empire.
All those shows on Thursday. If you want to see a strong black female in character, wait till you see Amanda Waller, especially if he's going to be cast by the lady from The Help. I can't remember her name now. She also has a show on Thursday. If it's her, you're going to see a woman who does not give a shit about what superpowers you have. I mean, it's like the female version of Nick Fury, except that she was more prepared to do anything.
I just think it'll be excited to see a character like that who's just utterly ruthless.
Exactly. So she will be the one. And again, it will be another black person in many movies. Sorry.
It'll be interesting. Interesting how they.
Yeah, that's a good lineup there.
But I'm just maybe that person will be it. But I'm just thinking on a star power perspective. Samuel Jackson's such a big star in Hollywood, and Marvel has really used him in the very right way that he's always kind of. He doesn't have to be Nick Fury. He's technically just Samuel L. Jackson with an eye patch on, yelling loudly.
Yeah, but the thing about Deadshot is that he only can show up in certain movies. Him showing up in the Superman movie, unless Lex gave him a kryptonite bullet to fire at Superman. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, Viola Davis. Yeah, that's her name. Thank you.
And so, out of that Suicide Squad lineup, I'm actually really glad that
Joel Kinnaman.
That Lou Rod sent this specific one, that Joel Kinnaman is going to be Rick Flag. I wasn't entirely sure who he was until I snapped, and he was a guy who was in the RoboCop reboot, but he was also in the Killing.
The Killing, yeah. I mean, the RoboCop reboot didn't do him too much justice, but the Killing,
the thing is, for a lot of those movies, it's not the cast. The cast of the RoboCop, the RoboCop reboot was terrific. It was a great cast.
I had no desire
I just think
to see
the story
that film.
Completely walked away from what it was that I think makes the RoboCop story interesting.
Yeah, the movie had the funny thing as a reboot. If you watch it had potential where you're like, okay, all right, it's fresh. They've updated, and then at some point you're like, you really why?
And then also,
I think RoboCop was a movie that it was in its time the way it was, and I don't think you could try to remake that type of.
No, you trust me. Watch it. You can. You just realize that they take a story.
Before we get too caught up in RoboCop, and because I think the original RoboCop is more of a commentary on violence in media and the media's portrayal of it. We should probably just wrap up entertainment.
I love that. You're like.
So Lou Rod also said that these are the rumored villains to be in Suicide Squad: Killer Frost, Blockbuster, King Shark, and Livewire. I know Livewire. I'm not actually sure. I don't know much about the other three.
And Killer Croc is Batman.
No. Killer Frost.
Oh, sorry. Killer Frost is, I think, Batman or Flash.
I don't know.
I think.
I actually don't know.
No.
I'm not as familiar with the DC folks.
She's a Batman villain, and is that Killer Croc also, or?
Nope. That's King Shark.
King Shark. I think he's also like a lesser Batman villain who they've thrown into Suicide Squad also.
So yeah, but this looks like it'll be the lineup, and again, I'll be kind of curious to see how casting goes down for these four, because having such a huge ensemble of villains playing heroes, we need other bad guys that are sort of interesting to watch for Suicide Squad.
Is Ocean's 11 or something?
Kinda, yeah.
It is kind of. If you want to get a good take of Suicide Squad, watch the animated movie Batman Escape from Arkham. It is a great, which is also what I heard this Suicide Squad movie is based off loosely. So some of the story elements will go over. That is a great way, because the villains there, they just turn on each other anyway. I mean, that's how you're going to expect it to see. And then Joker comes in and just throws a wrench, as always. So
lastly for the Lou Rod roundup, we've got a rumor that the Spider-Man coming to the Marvel universe will not be Peter Parker and will most likely be black.
Our new Spider-Man is rumored to be 95% likely not Peter Parker.
I'm going to say we're going to take this one with a humongous grain of salt. Not even like a grain of salt. We're going to take this with a full salt lick. You know, like the giant brick of salt that you would give to a horse. But that there's talk now that we might see a different Spider-Man, a non-Peter Parker Spider-Man in the Marvel universe.
Well, to put my 2 cents, right? If you're Marvel and you're going against DC, and off the bat, DC has Will Smith, The Rock, a black Cyborg, and probably a black Green Lantern.
Isn't Cyborg black anyways?
Yeah, no. It's black, but I'm not saying black, just in general. I mean,
they're not gender-bending these.
So and then you have Aquaman, who used to be blonde, Polynesian. Then you were slacking off in your minority quota.
Well, and it's funny because the Marvel comics are way more progressive than the DC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And DC just came out like, you know what, screw it, let's just wrap it up. So, taking Spider-Man and, doing Miles Morales or something like that with it will be huge.
I think this is them hearing, they're hearing people talk about it and asking for it. They're listening to the fan base. It's like, hey, we want something different. We want to change. We don't hate Peter Parker, but hey, we want to see something a little bit different out here. It's time to re-energize these, some of these characters and not always put up the same, stereotypical superhero movie. People want to see a little bit of change, and he could be the biggest change that ever happened in this thing. Because if that works out and he gets in there and that works out well, that's a whole nother, in a whole nother box that opens up for possibilities for different properties, different mediums, different characters. If Miles Morales ends up being Spider-Man, it would be the most important casting in the same light that how important Guardians of the Galaxy was to other movie properties coming out. Because if that movie didn't do well, I don't think we'd be seeing as many the risks that they're doing with Marvel Phase 3 with the different characters that they're doing. And that movie did so well, like boom, let's just throw them all out there and see what happens. And this would be the same thing. If let's say they cast Miles Morales, let's say it gets on to being Donald Glover, and that's the whole thing. The whole perfect scenario happens. He's in the most important role for a superhero ever in a movie. And if he proves to be very successful with that, imagine what they can do. Imagine like it literally allows the creators and these movie makers to literally do anything they want to do. They're no longer going to have to be restricted to a certain.
And we've got to start the letter writing campaign for Gambino now, because I think he is exactly the kind of actor that would be able to address.
Did you see what he said on his Facebook page? He said he's going to just leave this up to the fans this time.
The
No, no,
thing
no.
is that the Miles Morales character, the artist drew him based on Childish Gambino. Like the character's look is based off of him.
Right, but like I mean, yeah, I mean the character's look is based on Glover, but I think he's exactly the kind of actor that would address the problems I've had with previous Spider-Man, where either you get a really good Peter Parker or you get a really good Spider-Man, and I think
He can do both.
Gambino is going to be able to give us both the superhero and the alter ego without any issues. I think he's top notch.
I think the benefit for him is that he is a comedian, so that means he can
Mhm.
throw the comedic lines that the other two actors really couldn't really do as Spider-Man. As Spider-Man, the thing is, Spider-Man cracks a ton of jokes being Spider-Man, and that's one of the things that makes you like him, because there's a lot of times he's just not, he says it's the most serious tension thing happening, and he just cracks one of the stupidest joke ever at somebody.
Mhm.
So to see Childish Gambino do that, and especially the faces he makes, if you ever see any of his TV shows that he's done, it'd be really cool. But I'm waiting. Well, let Thunder E kind of speak his point.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you guys on that. It's you know what, we at least we don't have a long time to wait for that. We should know very soon, because he's gonna show up in the Spider-Man will show up in what do you call it again? Civil War. Unless they cast two different Spider-Man and keep quiet and kill off Peter Parker.
I don't think
You are so dying for Peter Parker to kill
No,
Tom.
dude,
I think it'd be an amazing story. I don't think if they go,
but it would be. I would love for them to do that. But let's pick which one we are. They're not going to kill up Peter Parker and give us a black superhero at the same time.
No, I mean, I agree. I seriously doubt that they're going to do that. That they're going to introduce a Peter Parker just to kill him off. I think if they're already going to be taking the heat from people who are sensitive about race in terms of white superheroes, that they're just going to skip directly to a black Spider-Man, because they're going to get a lot of negative response to that from people who are only casual Spider-Man fans.
Dude, that's the thing. Even Aquaman, right? This Aquaman photo has gotten so much heat on. I thought he was blonde. He's supposed to be this, and people are like, really? He actually took a race of people who have water gods, and that's their life.
What's ruining your day is that a fictional character who lives under the sea is not blonde-haired.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Aquaman is not that big. People are complaining that he's not blonde.
And if I remember correctly, Samoan and Polynesian and Samoan culture has water gods and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't let them be Disney and actually be historically and racially accurate for once. At least Disney princesses are. I'm saying, like, at least they're more accurate to their background than most comic books are.
All right. On that note, we should wrap up.
It's just sad.
Thank you very much, Blue Rod, again for your weekly entertainment preview. Just a few more things here. Blue Rod says Apple made the VR, so now it will work better.
They haven't made anything yet. That's what drives me crazy about Pat.
Joseph Hampton Jr. says Donald Glover would be great, but I feel he's too old, 31 for a franchise.
He looks like he's 25.
I mean, if you saw his last stand-up special, he looks like he's 19.
Exactly.
He can play young.
He can play young.
Yeah. And then Viola Davis, and then he said some stuff. So, all right, cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for chiming in and watching our hangout. Quickly, guys, what can we expect from you next week? Start off with Warren, because I know it's going to be short.
Stuff.
There we go.
And done.
All right, cool. And how about you, Juan?
So I'm wrapping up the Lumia 430. I'm actually holding the Lumia 435 right now, and you guys can't even see me.
Sure.
I'm wrapping up the Lumia 435. I just got my hands on my first BlackBerry OS 10, the BlackBerry Classic. So I'm trying to figure out how to use this thing.
You have the playbook here. I mean, a playbook, the passport.
The passport. No, I haven't gotten to play with the passport yet, but I do have the BlackBerry Classic. I just did my review on the Lenovo Yoga Tab 2, so you can catch that on my channel. And then lastly, someone called me out on my Kingston HyperX Cloud 2 review, because I used the mic on the Kingston to record the whole review, but I had the mic connected to an Olympus LS100. And so I'm actually fronting a contest because they said, well, that's not an accurate way to test this microphone because it's not fair to plug it into a portable recorder. So I have recorded a bunch of samples of the Kingston HyperX connected to my Lenovo tablet, the Lenovo tablet that I just did the review on, to an Olympus recorder, and then through the USB DAC that Kingston gives you. And so I've got 10 clips, and if anyone can correctly identify the Kingston connected to those 3 devices over 10 clips, I've got a gift card coming your way. So I'm going to let that contest run for a couple of weeks because I don't think anyone can do it. I think all these supposed experts on my channel, all these supposed, like, I'm an audio expert for gaming headsets. I doubt. I doubt anyone's going to pull it off. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is and saying this was absolutely the right way to test this mic. And if you can tell the difference, I'll actually consider changing how I do my reviews. But I think you're wrong. I don't think you can do it.
Oh man, I got. We'll wait for on DD to say. I have something to end on that. A similar like audio expert story.
For me, it's a couple of things. I have, of course, the Passport here. I have a soundbar that I will be doing a review this week. And
definitely pimp the soundbar because I've got some questions on because I'm actually looking at getting one for myself. So I'll be curious to see what your experiences are.
Okay. All right. Cool. Motorola's sending a mystery box.
Awesome.
I have no idea, so we'll see what that is. That's it for me on my end. Warren, you wanted to chime in before we round up?
Yeah, that's just kind of funny you said that one. Mind you, you do work in the audio industry, and apparently people don't know that on your channel. But to challenge you on that. But I got the same sort of challenge when I did a hands-on with the Sony the hi-fi player Sony has, the $1200 one. I was listening to it with the headphones because they give you hi-fi headphones to listen to it. And I'm talking about, hey, I can actually hear different instruments and sounds and stuff beforehand. Like I was listening to get lucky, and I heard some stuff in it that I had not heard before. And I got challenged by some audio experts saying, no, the audio doesn't sound different. It just sounds clear, but the audio sounds the same. And I'm like, no, I can hear different claps and beats and stuff from the back of the music.
I mean, what is the person talking about? When you get better headphones. I mean, forget even the hi-fi audio. When you're listening to music with, how you just told us, get those very good headphones so we can watch Rec at night because you want us to hear certain things and also feel certain things because of audio. So. Yeah, foolishness. So,
I mean, it's just it was. I was trying to explain, I can understand that if you listen to fully digital music, something like EDM, which there isn't really any instrumental live playing at all. But I was listening to Daft Get Lucky for say recorded live, and I could hear them tapping on the floor as the song is being played on beat. Like you hear nuances in small things, especially. I like to when I listen to high quality headphones. Usually when I'm listening to that type of music, I always try to get producers like Pharrell, Timbaland, Kanye West, those guys because they put in nuances in their music that you don't hear unless you have high quality headphones that you wouldn't normally hear in a song. The song can sound almost completely different to you when you hear those extra nuances. Then you kind of hear the direction they were going with a song.
Well, and what's funny is there's when I started moving over into basically listening on just professional monitors more often than consumer headphones. When I was breaking in my Nobles, the little earbuds, the in-ear monitors that I use, I was listening to I think it was either Parachutes or X and Y by Coldplay. I'm not the biggest Coldplay fan, but I like to listen just to a bunch of different things just so I can start exactly what you're talking about, Warren. There are certain nuances that you pick up on. And I think it might have been X and Y, but the way they gated Martin, the lead singer on Coldplay, you could hear all of the lip smacking and breathing. They didn't cut through that. And it totally ruined the album for me because I'm listening to him singing, and then all of a sudden, even with all the music going on, you'd hear and you're like, oh, you'd hear these little breaths and stuff, and I was like, I'd never heard that before on consumer headphones. It's like I can't listen to Coldplay anymore because now I know it's there.
That's the dangers of listening to hip hop that way as well too, because of the way rappers rap, and sometimes if they are specifically fast, you don't hear the breathing patterns. That's all do between there. So It's just funny.
That's
Love
too
it.
funny. Well, all right, cool,
Okay.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, guys, on audio, please just listen before you.
No, challenge me. This is great. This is fun. I love
Yeah.
this because you're wrong.
I
So I'm
was
assuming
gonna say, I was gonna say people should just listen.
because you just
Listen.
so what you're doing. I'm using the HyperX Cloud 2s now,
Yeah.
which is So you didn't use the USB.
Well, because when I was doing the review,
Uh,
I actually
thing.
wanted to be able to show the DAC while I was doing the review, so it was a little
Okay.
difficult to keep it all connected. But then for a lot of my videos, the reason I use the LS100 is that I don't need to have a computer running in the background that I then have to filter out.
Yeah.
I keep my office pretty quiet. So when I'm really testing the microphone, I want to test just the microphone in as sterile as an environment as I can make in my home office. And so the LS100 doesn't make any background noise. That's why I like portable recorders. But that and it's also the easiest way to keep everything consistent. So when I test a bunch of different mics or I test a bunch of different products, it's the same thing. Like when I did my review of the Sennheiser, not the Momentums, the Urbanite.
Overnight, yeah.
Yeah, I tested the mic on the Urbanite doing the same way, and that way you've got the most consistent testing methodology so that when you listen to the Urbanites, you can hear exactly what the mic is doing versus the Kingstons and exactly what the mic is doing. And that's just what I thought was kind of funny. And so I totally appreciate that real world usage. You're probably going to have a computer running or you're probably going to have them plugged into an Xbox in a living room. But there's no real way to consistently test. And then you don't get a sense of what the microphone is actually doing. You're listening more to the environment than you are the microphone.
Mhm.
So that's why I do it that way. But it's still, you know, if you can tell the difference between these three different setups, then I'll be shocked because I don't think anyone's going to be able to nail it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right, guys. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to all our channels. BW1.com for Mr. Warren Bowman on YouTube, on Twitters, on every social network. Just search for BW1.com or just go to the website BW1.com. And finally, Mr. Juan Bagnell from Some Gadget Guy, somegadgetguy.com. Also, search Juan Bagnell on YouTube or Some Gadget Guy. You'll find him there. Subscribe to his channel. Enter that contest. See if you can find out if your ears are that good to detect the differences.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And finally, of course, follow us at Booredatwork.com. And we're also Booredatwork.com on YouTube. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much. And always enjoy your entertainment.
Bam.